Welcome back to Bonkers for Boro, and Hellball has taken Teesside by storm. That is because new boss Kim Hellberg has won his first three matches as Middlesbrough boss. First of all, it was the 2-1 win over Derby County. That was then followed by a 4-1 win over Hull City on Friday night, which was then followed by a 2-1 win over Charlton at the Valley yesterday evening. Now, for Middlesbrough, that's a really impressive run of results. It's mean that Middlesbrough are now cemented into second place as it stands at the moment, looking really comfortable in there and playing really good football. But more than that, it's been such an impressive start for Kim Hellberg. There was a lot of questions to be answered when he came over and took the job replacing Rob Edwards. Of course, coming over from Sweden, there was some questions about how the quality and the tactical level of the Swedish top flight compared to the Championship. Would he be able to come over and translate his methods into the Championship? And of course, he's come over midway through the season as well, which is really, really difficult. You've got to remember that he only had 2 days working with the players on the training ground before that first match, then had a few days before the Hull City game, and then there was only a couple of days between that and the Charlton game. So there hasn't been a huge amount of time for him to be on the training ground, working with the players and working on the system. But the way that he's got his messaging over to the players and got them playing for him already is so, so impressive. The players are looking really happy. They're looking really motivated. They look like they're really enjoying themselves under Kim Hellberg. But more than that, they really seem to have picked up his methods quite quickly. I personally thought that it might take weeks or even months for this Hellball system to really be implemented and for Middlesbrough to start showing what Kim Hellberg would be looking for. But the fact that we were seeing it within that first match against Derby County was quite impressive. And then against Hull and against Charlton, we saw it in full flow in a certain periods of those matches, with Middlesbrough looking so, so comfortable on the ball, just playing some absolutely beautiful football, playing the other team off the park for different stages. Against Hull, scoring 4 goals in the first half was incredible. Against Charlton, we looked so, so impressive in the first half once again. And I think for Middlesbrough fans, it's just been brilliant to see. It's been so, so entertaining. We've been winning matches, which is, of course, is the most important thing. But the fact that fans have been so entertained and to see the players playing with a smile on their faces has been so, so just lovely to see as well. And it just feels like a really good time to be a Middlesbrough supporter at the moment. Now, one of the big positives of Kim Hellberg's reign so far has been the fact that he's given some players who hadn't really been given an opportunity a chance to perform. Alex Bangura started that match against Derby County. That was his first start in 22 months when he came on. Of course, he'd been injured previous to that. Hadn't played a lot of football. There was a lot of question marks about managing his game time and reintroducing him to the squad. But Kim Hellberg came in and played him straight off the bat. Left back, we didn't really know how he was going to get on. There was a few skeptics, probably myself included, thinking that he might only last 15, 20 minutes before going off, but he was brilliant in that game against Derby. Yes, he was blowing a little bit. He was clearly absolutely knackered by the end of the game, but he played the full 90 minutes and was really impressive in doing so. Against Hull, absolutely electric. And against Charlton, once again, he was so, so good. He's really filled that void of that attack-minded left back slash left wing back that we've needed. And so it's going to be really, really good to see him playing in that Middlesbrough team moving forward. It does feel like it's his spot now. Of course, he is going to need to be managed a little bit. It remains to be seen whether he'll be playing every single time or whether he will be having his game time managed a little bit. Of course, we're playing QPR on Saturday. It might be that he's given a rest for that one, which would be completely understandable. But it's been so good to see him back on the pitch, see him smiling. He's a hugely popular figure in the dressing room as well. And like I said, he's just someone who brings a real threat down that left side. I think under Kim Hellberg playing this 4-2-2-2 formation, we need width from our wing backs, and Alex Bangura certainly brings that. He likes to get on the ball, he likes to play 1-2s, he likes to get to the byline, and that is so, so important. We haven't really seen a huge amount of that of late, and so it's great to see him doing well and really thriving in this system. Riley McGree, another player who is just absolutely flourishing under Kim Hellberg. He's a player who everyone knows how good Riley McGree is. He's been such an important player for Middlesbrough since he joined the club. But admittedly, I'd started to forget how good Riley McGree was because it had been that long since we'd seen him on a consistent basis. Now, in the last week or so, really, under Kim Hellberg, we've seen a lot more of him. We've been able to see him build up his fitness, but he's looking fit, he's looking sharp, he's looking strong. And getting a goal against Hull City and against Charlton, we're really starting to see Riley McGree get back to his best. He's so important in this system. He's such an intelligent player. Kim Hellberg was speaking in his press conference as well about how important he is to the team because of how many different positions he can play. He can play out wide, he can play as a number 10, number 8, number 6. We did see that against Derby as well, playing in that sort of deep-lying midfield role alongside Hayden Hackney. He just offers so, so much to this team, but ultimately, more than anything, he offers genuine quality. He's so good in those little pockets of space. He's been so important to this system under Kim Hellberg, getting on the ball, linking up with the attackers, linking up with the midfielders, and to see him get 2 goals in 2 games has been so important as well. Similar to Bangura, it might be a situation where he does need his game time managed a little bit, but to see him playing, he's been one of Middlesbrough's best in the last couple of weeks, and he's been one of the real big winners of life under Kim Hellberg. Now, of course, the third big winner, we didn't really see it coming before Friday night, but Alex Gilbert was absolutely sensational against Hull City. It was such a surprise, first of all, to see him in the starting lineup. I don't think anyone expected that because he's been pretty much the forgotten man at Middlesbrough so far this season. But he was named in the starting 11 to face Hull. And then more importantly, more surprisingly, he was playing in a deep-lying midfield position. I think people expected him to be playing as a kind of number 10, maybe alongside Morgan Whittaker in that kind of role, but then he was playing in a deep-lying midfield position, often as a number 6, drifting in between the centre-backs as well. And he was just so impressive. It was quite remarkable, really, how well he did, considering he hasn't played a lot of football recently. Considering that's not really his best position, but Alex Gilbert is someone who's very comfortable on the ball. He's someone who likes to get on the ball. His passing range is excellent. Technically, he's brilliant as well. We saw that from his goal against Hull City and how well he took that. But more than that, he was putting himself about. He was putting in tackles, and he was just so impressive in that deep-lying role. It was a role that I'd never seen him play before, but one which clearly made him undroppable at that point because he started the next game against Charlton as well. Now, it remains to be seen whether he'll keep that place in the team. Of course, we've heard fitness and illness issues with Aidan Morris and Alan Brown, which was ultimately the reason why he did play against Hull City. But because he did so well, he did keep his place in the team against Charlton. Alan Brown was on the bench. It will be interesting to see whether he keeps his place moving forward as well, because he does offer something very different in that central midfield role, playing in that deep lying role. He likes to get on the ball. He likes to spray passes around, but he linked up really well with Hayden Hackney as well, and it's been really good to see because I've always been a big believer in Alex Gilbert. I think we've seen so much of him that he can, of what he is capable of. He did sort of drift out of contention last season. It looked like he was going to get a real opportunity at the start of last campaign under Michael Carrick. He then drifted away, went on loan to Charlton, didn't play a huge amount of football. Pre-season was pretty poor from him because he didn't get a huge amount of chance under Rob Edwards, and it felt a little bit like, given that he wasn't playing a lot this season, that a January move away was quite likely, whether that was on loan or whether Middlesbrough would just look to cut their losses on a player who hadn't quite fulfilled his potential. But one of the things that Kim Hellberg has done is he's come in and he's promised to give players a fresh start. He's offered to give players an opportunity to show what they're capable of doing. And Alex Gilbert has grasped that with both hands. And all of a sudden, he's a player that a lot of people are thinking should definitely be starting, particularly this Saturday against QPR. He's done so well this week. Fans want to see more of him, and so that's a really strong position for him to be in. But also, it sends a really strong message to other members of the squad as well that he will be giving opportunities to players if they prove themselves in training. You're looking at people like Mika Hamilton, who hasn't played a huge amount of play, but could he be given an opportunity before too long to impress? It'll be up to him to take it. It'll be up to him to show that he's capable of performing and doing what Kim Hellberg wants, and that he's deserving of a spot in the team. But it has been a really good kind of cultural reset at Middlesbrough under this new boss in terms of the results that we've been getting on the pitch, in terms of the style of play, but also that ability to I guess to re-galvanise the squad, get everyone pulling in the right direction, the sort of pecking order that we saw under Rob Edwards, where there was the starters, then the subs, and then that sort of thing. That seems to have gone out the window. It seems like everyone's got an opportunity now. I think going into January, there's going to be so much competition for places when you're talking about the likes of Lucas Angel coming back from loan. Adolfson Melandra will be able to be selected from January the 1st as well. There's going to be some really difficult decisions to be made for Kim Hellberg, but I think given the way that he's got the team playing and given the way that he's given people a chance, I think there's going to be a really positive feeling around Rockcliffe Park at the moment as people look to challenge for a place in his plans. So it's been a really impressive week for Middlesbrough, some really impressive performances from the players, but none more so than the manager. Now, I want to hear from you. What have you thought of Kim Hellberg's first 3 matches in charge? Have you been impressed with Hellball, and how important is he going to be in Middlesbrough's push to challenge for promotion? Drop into the comments below. Let me know what you think about him. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit like, please do hit subscribe, and I will catch up with you very soon.